Hello, YouTube friends. Gail's here to play another visual novel. Another one that I downloaded quite some time ago. I don't remember how I found it or where. It was probably just on my itch.io feed. That's usually where I find games. And it said that it's wholesome and it's got some references to Japanese culture, which I'm always interested in learning more about. And I like the art style. It's very unique, very kind of like a painterly kind of style. It's pretty. I like it. I like the colors, like the pastel colors of the sky. It's very pretty. All right. So yeah, sounds like a good time. It's supposed to be short, but that's perfect because I can do it all in one sitting. So it's called Akiya. So cool. You're a photographer, and high school summer vacation means taking on jobs whenever you can, right? The job you're on today was from your uncle in Tokyo. He's the owner of a real estate agency specializing in Akiya houses. I know that's probably means that we can look up what Akiya houses are, but I'm not sure where I'm supposed to look that up. It'd be nice if they had like a glossary or something. It's not a field you're particularly familiar with. All you know is that Akiya literally means empty house. From your uncle's description, it seems like an old traditional houses are abandoned in more rural parts of Japan and get resold on or auctioned for cheaper prices. And for this job, he's requested that you head over to the Kyoto prefecture to photograph the interior of one of these Akiya houses. Take some nice pictures so potential customers get a better idea what it looks like inside. It'll help to have a photographer really capture the essence of this place. Well, I trust your judgment. With that and a ticket to Kyoto, you set off on a day trip to the abandoned houses. And I apologize about my pronunciation. I'm sure I'm going to butcher pronunciations for this. But I'm going to do my best. Just pronounce however it looks like it's spelled to me anyway. What is our name? I'm not sure if we're a woman or a man or but we'll just do Gales. Well then, Gales, I wonder what you'll find. That's interesting. It's like the narrator is talking to us, the player. Interesting. The house was quite a long way from the station, and you make a mental note to memorize the time of the last bus back. Even though it's noon, the streets are quiet. The only sounds you hear are the buzzing of cicadas and the hum of passing trains, occasionally broken by the soft ring of a distant wind chime. Before you go, the wooden fence around the Akiya has long withered. Plants fill the gaps left by loose wood and mud. Past the gate, stalks of bamboo peek out from the back of the residence, and patches of wild grass cover the path leading up to the entrance. You wonder how long it takes for grass to grow so tall. I have no idea who's saying this. Yo, what are you up to? A voice calls out from down the street, interrupting your thoughts. Okay, it's a guy. You look over and notice a boy around your age approaching you. He's wearing a typical school uniform and has a bag thrown over one shoulder. You remember seeing a couple of students in high school uniforms on the bus ride over, so maybe he's a local student? No way. You planning on sneaking in too? He tilts his head and laughs. The sound is light and pleasant. Wait, two? What? No, this is for my job. A job? What for? I'm a photographer and I'm supposed to take pictures of this empty traditional Japanese house. These photos are for my uncle's real estate company. They're going on his website for potential buyers. Seeing him tilt his head to the side, you quickly point toward the camera around your neck. It's a legit project, really, even though maybe I should have gotten it written down somewhere. A photographer, huh? Cool. Say, how about I tag along? So I'll just be going, tag along. Yep. Truth be told, I've always wanted to explore this place with someone. He does seem friendly, if not a little strange for the number of layers he's wearing during summertime. Hearing what a local has to say would be interesting, but isn't this guy being a bit too forward? Well, I guess that's fine. Who are you anyways? Right, introductions. You can call me Tawa. Towa. Once again, I'm so sorry about pronunciations. Not the kanji for harmony, but eternally. I'm a second year at Miniyama High. Since we're friends now, you can speak to me casually. Sure. I'm Gales. I've been doing photography as a hobby since middle school. I go to high school in Osaka, but I'm in Kyoto today for this job. Whoa, isn't that a long trip? You must be excited for this job. Nah, the pay's just good, or yeah, I'm excited to explore the area. Yeah, I do like exploring new places. I don't get to travel a lot because of school, so I've always wanted to visit Kyoto. It sure is a lot quieter than the big cities in Osaka. It feels like I'm in a nostalgic film. Really? It's always been the same old for me. I'd love to see what it's like outside this area. I should mention. Tawa's face lights up and he excitedly turns to the Akiya before you. My grandparents used to live in... Oh my gosh. Machiya. Close enough. Like this one here, so I learned a bit about them from growing up. So I can point out its cool features for you. Wait. Machiya? Does that word mean a Kyoto townhouse? Yep, they're townhouses that we built in the big cities in Heian, Kyoto. So this place used to be a big city. Nope. Oh, I think my grandparents just meant they retained features of those townhouses. Who knows what this street corner looked like back then. The Heian period, your teachers always talked about how it was a time when Japanese art and literature flourished. This was also when Kyoto was the capital city of Japan. Or capital of Japan. You know what I mean. The two of you make your way back to the entrance of the Kiyomachiya, dodging a few stray branches and overgrown shrubs. See these here? Tawa points to a space beside the entrance. Through the foliage, you can make out a wooden bench half obscured by vines and wild grass. These benches would be used for displaying merchandise. Huh. They didn't put them in the windows? Oh, I wonder if this is like where they got their research. It might be citing where they got their research from. That might be what it is. But yeah, I do kind of wish there was something that we could click on, like a little submenu or whatever, that has these citations on there. So then we could see what they're citing, you know. They didn't put them in the windows? Wait, windows looked different back then. I remember this part. Toa laughs, reaching up to move some vines to the side, revealing a row of thin wooden bars in place of a typical window. I used to love looking outside the koshi windows at my grandparents' place. As a kid, I could never figure out why you could see outside but not in. Tawa is right. Even with the sun beaming down behind you, the interior of the Kiyomachiya looked quite dark. Moving closer, you notice a layer of glass behind some of the wooden bars. It looks like this place had some renovations since it was first built. You take a couple pictures of the front garden, careful not to step off the stone path. Gales, help me open these. Toa's waiting for you at the entrance. As you approach, you notice that the Kiyomachiya is built on a slightly raised ledge off the ground. With your combined strength, the front door slides open with a soft creak. Toa hums, and you step inside. The interior of the Kiyomachiya feels like a whole different world. Now that you're inside, the smell of wildflowers and plants is replaced by the soft, earthy scent of cedar wood. Beams of light illuminate the large space from the ceiling, causing specks of dust to glimmer as they fall. I really appreciate this sort of details. It's very nice. Very polished writing. I like it. The space is both brighter and bigger than you first expected. You recall how on the map you saw the length of this house looked almost double its width. Before you was a familiar Ginkan entrance, albeit more weathered. Background looks pretty nice. It gets the job done anyway. I like that it's all very consistent with the style, with the very painting, kind of messy kind of style of painting. Cool, very cool. Everything sure looks worn out, or it smells less stinky than I expected. I wonder how long it's been since someone's visited. We might be the first in a while. That door kicked up a lot of dust. Past the Genkin, there are a number of small wooden cabinets and drawers with an assortment of old pots and plates scattered about. Items belonging to the previous tenant, no doubt. On both sides, there are rooms with raised floors and tatami mats. And at the back of a long hallway, there's another door that seems to lead to a back garden. The entrance is ajar, illuminating the space from the back. Check it out. They have a little mascot. As he steps beside you, Toa immediately points to a small hand-sewn plush hanging from the side of one of the large cabinets. It looks vaguely lobster-shaped, but you can't tell for sure. You're about to step into the tatami room when you suddenly pause, looking over to Toa. It's been years, and there's already layers of dust on the tatami mats. I'm sure they won't mind. Somewhere, my grandparents are looking down with shame. You both issue a silent apology to the owner for stepping on the tatami mat with your shoes on. There are other places of wooden furniture in the room with tatami mats, probably abandoned because it would have been more of a hassle to move. You spot a couple of wooden panels leaning against the wall. They look like a thicker version of the koshi windows. Oh, watch your head. You quickly turn, only to bump into something hanging from the ceiling, sending a shower of dust down to your head. You cough and cover your nose from the dust, fanning your face before taking a closer look at what you just ran into. The object hanging from the ceiling seems to be an old charm of sorts. It's made of a small wooden plaque and bell, attached together with a braided cord. Toa looks like he's trying not to laugh, and you quickly dust yourself off in embarrassment. If it's a good luck charm, maybe it's a sign of good luck. Toa smiles and lightly ruffles your hair to help get the dust off. The dust sprites, they got me. More warning next time, please. I like that one. That one's fun. The Susu Watari are going to take me away to the spirit world now. You wave your arms dramatically, causing Toa to laugh. If they do, I'll come find you. But jokes aside, I'll definitely stop you before you run into any beams. More of what now? Toa points up, and you notice that instead of a second story, there seems to be a tall attic held up by wooden beams. Doesn't it look impressive? I heard these houses would be built with just natural materials. The beams are all joined together. Speaking of materials, do you know what these are? You point to the panels at the side of the room. Looks like fusuma to me. They probably fit on these grooves in the ground. There are indeed grooves on the floor. They seem to section off this room into two. It looks like by adding the fusuma screens, the room could be adjusted to be smaller or larger than it is now. And it's different from shoji windows? Yep. See how these look more opaque? The fusuma feels like thick cloth to the touch. Taking a closer look, there's a faint pattern on what looks to be a landscape painting. While it's mostly faded, and you notice scratches on the sides, It's clear a lot of work was put into making them. Say, don't you wonder why people abandon these houses? Oh, I never really commented on his sprite, but it looks nice. I like his sprite. Nice character to design. Very, you know, modern. His eyes two different colors. Looks like it. Like this one's kind of reddish and this one blue or purple, I think. Cool. Interesting. Let's see. Maybe because they need too many renovations. Maybe it's difficult to adjust to the community, or I don't know. Yeah, maybe they need too many renovations. I mean, I'm assuming things like pipes and stoves are really old now. Even if it's a cheap house, the renovations could be costly. I see. And I guess it'll be difficult to suddenly move away from the community you're used to. Plus, if it's a bigger household, I wonder how they'll divide up the living area. Right. It's probably a big change from what most people are used to now, huh? I've gotten used to this. I didn't know a lot of these traditional houses were fading out. You must have visited your grandparents a lot then. Oh, yeah, that's right. I used to see them all the time. But that was a long time ago. Toa is smiling, but the expression doesn't quite reach his eyes. You get the feeling, despite his cheerful attitude, there's something left unsaid. Aw. Try to cheer him up or try to change the subject. Let's try to cheer him up, I guess. Even though I'm not sure what you've been through, I'll do my best to learn more about these Kiyomachiya so that you can chat with me anytime. Since I know how it feels to want to talk about something, but none of your friends know anything about it. Toa smiles and the tension immediately dissipates. Isn't that sweet of you? Do you say that to all the guys you meet? What? You know what? I take back what I said. You cross your arms and turn around while Toa laughs at your reaction. With that, the trace of nostalgia disappears. You suddenly notice a small space in the corner of the tatami room. Say, doesn't this corner look like a pocket shrine? Toa walks over to see what you're pointing at. Ah, it's a tokonoma. Tokonoma? Sorry. My grandparents used to keep their vase there. They said it was for aesthetic appreciation. People usually kept scrolls and flower arrangements there. You were just pointing to a random corner, but upon closer inspection, the area did look like a space that could fit a small statue or vase. On the wall behind the tokonoma, you notice a groove that could have been used to attach a banner. You try to imagine what this space looked like when it was used as a display. But pocket shrine is a surprisingly cute description. What was that? Nothing. Geez, you gotta speak up sometimes. By the way, do you think the tall roofs makes the Kiyomachiya look extra big? Plus, there's a surprising amount of natural light. You look up, trying to locate the skylight along the tall beams. Blech. Ah, Gales. That's ledge. What? The floor beneath you suddenly disappears beneath your feet, and you feel yourself falling backward. Before Toa grabs you by the arm, causing you both to stumble off the raised ledge. Thud. Oops. You land with a heavy thud, but the ground beneath you feels soft. Toa. Somehow Toa managed to sandwich himself between you and the ground before you landed, taking most of the fall. Are you okay? You frantically look up at Toa. Thankfully, it looks like you both stumbled into a patch of dry grass and vines. Behind you, there's what looks like a miniature garden, sitting square in the middle of the house. Don't worry. The textbooks were a nice cushion. Toa laughs and props himself up on one arm, picking out a dry leaf from his hair. From the proximity, you notice that one of his eyes is a darker shade of red. And that you're basically half lying on top of him. I'm so sorry. I'll get off right away. You quickly move out of the awkward position, practically jumping to your feet. That would have been a good chance to do maybe a close-up of his face. I think that kind of would have been nice. Like a zoom in. Offer him a hand or don't offer him a hand. Yeah, we'll offer him a hand. You feel your face burn, quickly offering Toa a hand. Thank you. Toa takes your hand, and despite your embarrassment, you notice his hands are surprisingly cold. Wait, you're freezing. Don't worry. Toa quickly pulls his hand back as he stands up, dusting off his sweater. He's cold? In the middle of summer? Really? Maybe he's a ghost. Maybe. It's possible. It'd be interesting supernatural twist. It's just bad circulation. It's nice and cool inside the Kiyomichiya during summer after all. You sure you're alright? It's really nothing to worry about. Do we have gloves on us? But his reassurances fall on deaf ears as you ruffle through your camera, pulling out a set of gloves. Who carries gloves with them? Oh, I've been carrying these around in my case in case my hands get cold when I'm taking photos. In any case, please put them on. I guess it makes sense if, like, you do this all year round, even though it's the summer. You'd have them in there, and you're just don't see a point in taking them out. Or maybe if it's raining or something, who knows? I don't know why you would be taking photos if it's raining, but who knows? It's possible. In any case, please put them on. Thank you. Geez, I thought you were strange for wearing the winter uniform in the sun, but I understand now. It didn't make me extra mysterious and charming. You're supposed to be susceptible to catching a cold, that's what. You huff and quickly turn around, causing Toa to laugh. By the way, why is there a garden here in the first place? I didn't expect one to be sandwiched in the middle of the Kiyomichiya. Having an interior garden is more common than you think, or so I've heard. Toa pushes a stray bamboo branch to the side, revealing the rest of the garden. The space is smaller than you expected. Only a small patch of sunlight streaks down from above. Bamboo stalks and a veranda obscure most of the sky above. My grandparents called it the Inon Niwa, or Garden of Darkness. This sounds suspenseful. Toa laughs, giving you a playful nudge. Hey, I bet there's a horror novel somewhere about old houses out there. And the Tsuboniwa garden definitely sounds scarier than something like a chair. You'd be surprised. Say, you mentioned these photos are for a real estate company, right? What do you think's going to happen to this place after it's sold? I wonder. Maybe the new owner will restore it. Maybe it'll be renovated into community center or museum. Maybe it'll turn into a cafe or shop. Continue the conversation. What do you think? We'll say maybe the new owner will restore it. Do what they can to preserve the traditional culture. I'm sure it would be really cool if younger generations are able to see what these traditional spaces look like. That would be nice. I wonder how much they'll change. Well, they'll probably have to start by cleaning up the place. Oh, and reinforcing against earthquakes. Shoot, maybe I should have considered that before we just walked in. Hey, these pillars have been holding up surprisingly well all these years. I'm sure you don't have to worry. Well, since we can do all the options, I had a feeling we could, because this says continue the conversation. We could do this one. See all the options are. Wouldn't that be cool? It would be like a community center where people can visit and learn about traditional culture. I haven't seen one myself, but I read online that they were able to reconstruct Akiya just in time for the Gion Festival. What's that? I heard it was a yearly tradition to ward off epidemics since all the way back to the Heian period. Honestly, I'm surprised you haven't been to one since they're held here in Kyoto. Toa laughs, looking away bashfully. What can I say? Guess I've been glued to this street corner all my life. Right. I remember now. My uncle was telling me about how with the Machiya restored, the community was able to celebrate the Gion Festival there again. Whoa, that sounds really incredible. Or maybe it'll turn into a cafe or shop. I heard there's a popular cafe in Kyoto that was actually renovated from an old Akiya. My friends were talking about it, visiting it together. So maybe the new owner will turn it into a cafe or tea shop. Here, huh? I suppose there's a lot you can do with the big rooms here. I wonder if it'll bring a lot of tourists to this area. It would probably be a lot of work. But I'd like to visit a tea house like that. It sounds like it would be really relaxing. Eh? Is that what it'll take for you to come back and visit me? So, what do you think? How about you? What would you like to happen for this place, I mean? If I'm honest, I'm not sure. I've gotten used to this place the way it's always been, just sitting in a quiet corner of the city. It'll be nice if everyone could see what this house looked like back in Heian, Japan. But it would also be nice if we could have more visitors like you. You must be a big fan of history, huh? I just picked up what I heard. My grandparents really loved their place. When I stayed with them, they told me they didn't want to abandon this space out of respect for the older generations. That the wonderful memories they have couldn't be replaced. While to some people it might not make sense, I think they truly valued the heritage of this space. Toa gives you a rueful smile, and you take another look at the Akiya you're standing in. While the furniture is covered by a layer of dust and plants had taken over the front and middle gardens, you imagine what this space would have looked like when it was first built. Running your hand over the smooth walls, you wonder what this place meant to someone in a different time. But looks like I've been reminiscing for a while, pulling you from your thoughts. I'm curious, what do you do in your free time, other than photography, that is? Well, I usually hang out with friends. I usually spend time by myself. Sometimes I hang out with friends. Sometimes I just spend time alone. Yeah, that's kind of how I was. I was usually fine either one or the other. Well, aside from studying, I try doing things I enjoy. Sometimes it's going out with friends, and sometimes I just feel like reading or playing games. Yep, that sounds a lot like me when I was in high school and how I am now, too. I see. Hey. Say, have you visited anywhere cool lately? Well, I haven't been to this place myself, but my friend recommended this shop. They said it's a cafe and manga store in one place. Their partner invited them on a date there, and I heard the cafe is really cozy. I've been meaning to check it out since it's so close to our high school in Osaka. Wait, a manga cafe? I've never been to one before. What's it like inside? You've really been living under a rock, huh? From the pictures I saw online, it looks really cozy. You can order a hot drink and read. It's super relaxing. But how about you? What do you usually do in your free time? Toa thinks for a moment. Study? Huh, you just study all the time? Well, I guess it makes sense how you memorize many facts about the Kiyomichiya, but that's too much. Yeah, that's definitely suspicious. I'm definitely thinking there's something not normal about him. He's definitely hiding something, that's for sure. If you didn't have to worry about entrance exams, what would you want to do? I guess I would love to check out a big manga cafe someday. Going on a date sounds fun as well. Well, I'm sure there's a manga cafe somewhere in Kyoto. Wait, you've never been on a date? With your looks, good personality, respectful to elders, good grades, you've never been asked out on a date. Whoa there now. What are you trying to say? Yeah, I'd take him out on a date. I'll take you there as a friend, or you should go out more. Yeah, he seems nice. Huh? Huh? Toa scrambles to cover his face with his hands. It looks like he was just acting cool all this time and didn't expect you to double down. Maybe you could tease him some more. Yes, I do like to tease. Geez, if you hate it so much. Wait, what? Not at all. I would like that very much. He grinned as his flustered expression giving him a light tap on his shoulder. It's a date then. How about we go figure out all the details once we're done here? Toa laughs. The sound is warm and reassuring. Sounds good. With a new spring in your step, you make your way towards the end of the hallway. The back door slides open with some difficulty. Stepping outside, you're greeted by the smell of wildflowers and the warm sun on your face. This must be the Okunawa. It sure is hot out here. Toa was right. The back garden is a lot brighter than the Suboniwa garden. The sound of cicadas fill your ears, and your eyes take a moment to adjust to the sun. The garden is also a lot larger than the one tucked in the center of the Kiyomichiya. It's filled with stalks of bamboo, wild grass, and very old trees. Tucked in the corner, vines half obscure what looks to be a stone lantern. The lantern is sitting in front of another structure, most likely a storage space. Yeah, I do like the background. It's nice. Very cool. I like the little shrines or statues. The lantern is sitting in front of another structure, most likely a storage space. Lantern, I guess that's what I'm guessing they're talking about this. But the centerpiece of the garden is what catches your eye. At the end of the stone path, a small moss-covered shrine sits against a tall bamboo fence. And now I'm guessing they're talking about this. Whoa, the owner must have maintained this well. Approaching the shrine, you notice the detailed stone and wooden carvings that decorate its interior. Looks like a small Shinto shrine. You're vaguely familiar with Shinto beliefs. It's one of the indigenous religions in Japan where people worshipped various spirits, or kami, which represented various forces of nature. You also recall how a teacher said these shrines are considered a sacred space. Toa crouches beside you, admiring the delicate woodworking of the small shrine. Say, do you believe in kami? Yeah, I think so. Well, a lot of people do, to an extent, right? The term kami is sometimes translated as God or spirit, but in reality, they represent many different things, don't they? Ding, ding, ding. My grandparents told me they can be anything from a creator deity to famous spirits of the dead, even powerful and unnatural phenomena. Maybe that's what he is. Maybe he's a kami, then. Aren't they usually worshipped at a shrine or associated with sacred objects? I haven't visited many Shinto shrines, but I heard there's all kinds of kami out there. It's always been interesting to me how people can worship different kami for different purposes. I heard during festivals or rituals, you might even be able to encounter one. I suppose that's what some people believe. Sorry. This question was a bit out of the blue. No, I don't mind. I wonder if this is a shrine for the kami this household made offerings to. Upon closer inspection, there's a small plaque on its side. While any paint that was once covering the sides have faded, you're still able to make out an inscription in kanji. With your phone's translator app, you might be able to read what it says. Ah. Toa suddenly exclaims, and you look up to see him searching for something in his pocket. Seems like I dropped something on the way. I should go look for it. Oh, let me help. Don't worry about it. I'll just check my pockets again. Give me a minute to see if I can translate this, then we'll look around together. Toa nods, and you crouch to get a closer look at the wooden plaque. It's a short poem, but upon closer inspection, the kanji looks strange. Well, it's more like the words' meanings are all over the place. After typing the first words into the search bar, you suddenly realize what was off. Instead of Japanese kanji, the writing is actually in an old Chinese script, characteristic of the pre-Heian writing system. Changing the language setting on the app, the plaque reads as follows. With humble gifts, we ask for your protection. To cherish our memory, our lives and culture. For the day the front door slides open again. When time has washed away all memories of us. To the kami of this land, you'll be here to guide them, eternally. Remember Toa's explanation of kami, how households would worship many different deities for different purposes. Didn't Toa say his name meant eternally? Didn't he say that? He said something like that. The poem appears to be a description of the kami the previous owners worshipped. Yet, this last word seems familiar, as if it had a different meaning. Eternally. Isn't this the kanji for Toa's name? To the kami of this land, you'll be here to guide them, eternally. Oh, this is a flashback to, when he introduced himself. Yeah, I remember. See, I remembered even without the flashback. I've been paying attention. Right, introductions. You can call me Toa. Towa, not for the kanji for harmony, but eternally. I'm a second year at Minama High. Since we're friends now, you can speak to me casually. The kami this inscription is dedicated to is Toa? The sun suddenly feels too warm, and cicadas are chirping too loud. Hey, Toa? You turn, but he's no longer behind you. You stand up with a start, the sudden motion making you dizzy. Toa, are you there? You're running toward the house now, the meaning of the poem slowly piecing together. Maybe you've got it all wrong. Maybe it's just a coincidence, and Toa is standing just behind the door. Or maybe he's actually a kami. The one who passes on their knowledge and information about their culture to a newcomer, to guide them through the house once the door reopens. You throw open the back door, causing it to slam into the wall. The sound echoes down the long, empty corridor. All this time, Toa wasn't describing his grandparents' experience. He was describing his own life, watching over each generation as the kami residing in this house. His deeply personal remarks about the Kyomichiya, his surprising lack of experience traveling to different places, the peculiar way he suddenly appeared when you arrived, his question, asking if you believed in kami. Toa, where are you? You run through the Kyomichiya, shouting his name while looking in the rooms you pass together. The layout hasn't changed either. And yet the space feels larger, more empty. Toa! You burst out the front door and Toa turns, standing at the edge of the road. Ah, I was just going to check the street. Who are you? Are you really a kami? Yeah, are you? You yell the words before you can stop yourself, catching you both off guard. Toa stands at the edge of the garden, frozen, as you quickly walk towards him. Your name. Why was it on the shrine in the back garden? Are you actually the kami the placard describes? You saw the inscription, huh? Does that mean it's true then? That you're not actually a human? You're right. I'm not. There was no smart remark, no flirty comeback. I'm a kami. Towa's words had a weight of finality to it. Seeing your reaction, he smiles ruefully, playing with the braided cord in his hair. You're kidding, right? You let the question leave your mouth, but his expression gives you all the answers you need. Towa softly sighs. He's suddenly standing too far, like he can turn the corner and suddenly vanish. Ever since I woke up here, decades, centuries ago, I've been living in a weightless in-between world. Well, maybe that was a bit too poetic. I guess I've just gotten used to listening to all the stories I've heard without being able to speak to anyone. Kami, or everything, and nothing. Objects, representations of emotions, states of the universe. The only thing I know for certain is that I'm not human. Don't say that. What? That I'm not human? I'm only repeating the truth. The words of kami and humans are separate. There must be exceptions. You said so yourself, that during festivals or rituals, that kami can interact with the world. You step closer over the overgrown path and stalks of bamboo until you're face to face with Towa. And right now, if you're really so many worlds apart, how are we talking right now? I'm not sure. It seems like you're special, Towa winks. He's trying to lighten the mood, but you really can't put up with his antics right now. Isn't this what you wanted? To be able to learn about the world, to chat with people casually like this? It is. And don't pretend you weren't just about to just leave without saying anything. Why are you content with just disappearing? You didn't realize how much you raised your voice until you paused. The silence that follows almost stings, ringing louder than the cicada's chirps. You know that I can't really be your friend. Oh, why not? I'm only here because it's where my shrine was built, and this corner of the street is everything I've ever known. Today was fun. It's the most exciting day I've had in a long time, so I'll be content, existing in your mind as a passing summer memory. So, I should go quickly before this goodbye gets awkward. You don't let Towa finish, pulling him into a hug. Aww. He's stiff for a moment before softly returning the hug. There. I'm still here. I wasn't planning on disappearing on you, really. While his words are reassuring, the way his voice dips isn't. You're a big liar, you know. But I really am still standing here. Didn't you say we were going on a date? Huh? You can't just say that and pretend it didn't happen. I was looking forward to it, you know? I see. Towa laughs, softly patting the back of your head. What's that for? Sorry. It's just that earlier I thought you wouldn't even notice if I suddenly left. What? How could you say that? You're being so unfair, you know that? That would be awful, leaving without knowing if something happened to you and never being able to talk to you again. So don't go disappearing on me. I'll be worried, you know. Plus, I want to learn more about you. If that's something you want, of course. I'd like that very much, you know? Towa laughs, and it's the same light, pleasant sound as you first met. Thank goodness. In that moment, just as long as you knew he wasn't going to disappear, it was enough. Good. I'll definitely find a way for you to visit the rest of Kyoto. I'm sure if I look it up, there has to be a way Kami can move more freely. Please take this. Towa slides his bracelet off his wrist, holding it for you. The red string is delicately woven with an intricate design, and a small bell is woven in the center. Kami can only be moved within a shrine, but I learned early on that this Kumohimo allowed me to travel to the cities if someone carries it with them. It's not like a proper ceremony, which means I can always return here. It'll just let me explore outside the neighborhood. You're saying... I won't always be bugging you. Of course, it only gives me the option of visiting the recipient of this bracelet. If it's too much to ask, you don't need to accept. No, I want to accept it. You could do this the whole time. I didn't want to be a bother. Plus, I didn't want to impose. Since you've been so kind. You interrupt us stammering by pulling him into a tight hug. Toa laughs, returning the bear hug. I'll take that as on. I'll consider it then. Wouldn't you like to know? You pull away and try to put on a faux serious face, but it's impossible not to smile at Toa's happy expression as you laugh together. While you can't call yourself an expert, it feels like you've learned just a little more about these traditional Kyoto houses today. That you can appreciate the heritage of this space just a little more to have a better understanding of Japanese culture. And also, you were able to make a precious new friend. So, shall we go on a date today? Aw, good end. Plans for a date. Oh, ending 2 out of 3. Kind of curious about the other endings now. But I probably won't record it. I might check them out on my own, but this is really cute. I loved it. Oh my gosh, it's so wholesome and sweet. And I like the little supernatural elements. I wasn't expecting it. Well, I wasn't expecting it at the beginning. I was kind of expected it as we read on, which is good. I like that when you're going to do a twist, if you hint about it, do some foreshadowing. And I was able to figure it out on my own, which means that there was enough. There was enough there for the reader, the player, to figure it out before they reveal the mystery, which is good. I like to see that. I really like the art style. The characters were nice, little interactions. I like that it was kept more friendly. Like, they were flirty, but they weren't like, not in a creeperish way, but just in a fun, playful kind of way, which I like. He didn't give me the creeper vibes. So that's good. I appreciate that. It kept it light and wholesome and sweet. More curious about each other, less like, oh my gosh, I'm already in love, let's kiss. No, that would have been too fast. So I like that it was kept more on the light, playful side. And it gives you something to speculate about in the future. You know, imagine them getting closer, maybe going on a date, and maybe eventually falling in love. But it wasn't rushed or anything. So I appreciate that aspect of it here with the strangers to lovers. And it's more of a strangers to friends to lovers. I'm definitely not an expert on Japanese culture, but I do, so I'm just gullible enough in believing whatever they say. But it sounds like they at least did a lot of research. You can definitely tell that at least some research was done here, especially with the little citations. I'm still a little confused about where I can go to find where those footnotes are, because this is a visual novel. So I think my only constructive criticism would be to have a little, maybe a little glossary or menu or something where you could go to see where those footnotes lead. I'm guessing, if I had to guess, it's probably going to be on the project page itself on Itch.io. Let me go check it real quick. Yeah, so they have what they call a reference document as a PDF form on the project page itself, which that's nice. It's nice that they do have something like that. I would have preferred if it just be included in the game. You could just as easily, with a little bit of coding, maybe they just don't know how to make a new menu page, but you could do it in the game if you wanted to. I did a glossary page in my Pure in Heart visual novel, for example, because there's a lot of lore and stuff in it. It's a high fantasy type of background setting, so there's a lot of gods and foreign places that other people aren't going to have any idea what they are. So that's why I included a glossary page. So if there's something you don't know what they're talking about, you can look it up there. So I would recommend doing something like that. But that's really the only main constructive criticism I have. Other than that, it was really great. Awesome. Loved it. The writing was great. I loved the detailing of the writing. Like the textures of the building and the tatami mats and stuff like that. It's just very attention to detail, carvings on the shrine and stuff. It just gives it a little more, makes it a little more immersive. And there wasn't a whole lot of there weren't any CGs, there wasn't any there weren't a whole lot of backgrounds. There were a few. There was like maybe 3 or 4, and there was just the one sprite. It was simple, but the writing helps make up for that, is the point that I'm trying to get at. So it's okay if you don't have the motivation, you don't have the money, or whatever the issue is for not having a whole lot of art to add to it. Maybe you ran out of time, maybe it was for a jam, I'm not entirely sure what the situation was. But the writing makes up for it. So, in my opinion, I'm okay with that. As long as you have it, if you have it in visual forms, that's great. But if you have it in writing form, that's great too. It's whatever you want to do, as long as it's present. It doesn't matter what form it takes, in my opinion. And I would love to see more. If they did a continuation, that'd be fine. Otherwise, it's fine just the way it is, in my opinion. So I like it. I don't mind when things leave the ending open to interpretation. You could definitely get a sense that of the direction it was heading, that they were going to be bonded by this bracelet, and that their relationship could continue and maybe possibly blossom into romance, which is sweet and interesting. But I think that's all I have to say. Thank you for watching, and I hope you have a great day. Bye.